The concept of introduction to women's roles in the Bible encompasses understanding the various capacities in which women are portrayed within biblical texts, serving not only as characters in religious narratives, but also as figures of theological significance, who provide profound insights into the spiritual, cultural, and societal aspects of the biblical world. The women of the Bible, from prominent figures to lesser-known individuals, play crucial roles that influence the unfolding of biblical events and the teachings derived from them. The significance of this point is paramount, as it sets the stage for exploring how women, through their diverse roles, have influenced religious narratives and inspired generations. Women's stories in the Bible often highlight themes of courage, faith, and leadership. They serve as moral, ethical, and spiritual role models, influencing religious practices and social norms within various faith communities historically and in modern times. For instance, the story of Esther illustrates a woman's pivotal role in leadership and advocacy, as she bravely intervenes to save her people, showcasing the power of individual agency and the impact of decisive action. Similarly, Mary, the mother of Jesus, is revered for her faith and obedience, embodying the virtues of humility and acceptance of divine will, shaping Christian views on motherhood and servitude. These examples highlight how the roles of women extend beyond household confines, demonstrating leadership, bravery, and unwavering faith. Support for the idea of women's significant roles comes from scholars and theologians who emphasize the necessity of inclusive interpretations of the Bible that recognize and celebrate women's contributions. These interpretations challenge patriarchal readings that historically minimize women's roles. However, the topic is not without controversies or challenges. Traditional and conservative viewpoints may resist progressive interpretations, sticking to patriarchal readings that sustain limited roles for women. Additionally, cultural and historical contexts of biblical times sometimes present constraints on how women's roles are viewed and interpreted today. This introduction to women's roles in the Bible connects intricately to broader discussions within the main topic by establishing a foundation upon which the exploration of specific women's narratives can be built. Understanding the diverse roles women played in biblical narratives influences modern discussions on gender roles, equality, and leadership within religious contexts. It invites a broader conversation about how ancient texts continue to shape contemporary beliefs and social practices related to gender. By highlighting the significance of women's roles in the Bible, we acknowledge their enduring impact and the inspiration they provide across generations. In exploring women's roles in the Bible, the influential and inspiring, we delve into a complex tapestry of narratives where women play pivotal roles that shape the course of biblical history. This concept refers to the profound and multifaceted impact women have had throughout biblical narratives, acting as leaders, prophets, and pivotal figures in the unfolding of divine plans. Their contributions often carry themes of strength, wisdom, and resilience, challenging cultural norms of their times. The significance of this point lies in highlighting that, despite predominantly patriarchal settings, biblical stories showcase women's powerful influence, offering inspiration and insight for contemporary discussions on gender roles. Recognizing these contributions underscores a broader understanding of women's capacities to affect change, advocate for justice, and embody faith in substantial ways. One illustrative example is Deborah, a judge and prophetess whose leadership and military strategy led Israel to victory in Judges 4 and 5. Her story exemplifies a model of female leadership, characterized by wisdom and courage, transcending traditional gender limits of authority. Another example is Esther, whose bravery and strategic acumen in the book of Esther saved the Jewish people from genocide. Facing potential death, her actions underscore themes of sacrifice and advocacy. Supporters of this view argue that these stories serve as reminders of the inherent strength and leadership qualities present in women, advocating for greater recognition of such roles both historically and in modern contexts. They suggest these narratives encourage a reevaluation of gender roles in religious and societal contexts, supporting gender equality. However, challenges arise when addressing inconsistencies in biblical portrayals of women, as some texts also reflect restrictive cultural practices. Interpretations can diverge, with some seeing these stories as exceptions rather than the norm, potentially limiting their applicability. Additionally, discussions sometimes lead to polarizing views on the extent to which these ancient texts should inform contemporary gender norms. These influential roles interconnect with broader discussions of power dynamics, divine purpose, and societal norms, both within the Bible and in contemporary discourse. Women's stories not only enrich biblical narratives, but also prompt ongoing dialogue about gender equality, leadership, and the recognition of diverse contributions to faith and society. Thus, they remain key to understanding the full spectrum of human experience and divine interaction as portrayed in biblical literature. The role of women in biblical narratives serves as a pivotal dimension of understanding both the spiritual and societal impacts they hold within these ancient texts. Biblical narratives often portray women in various roles, ranging from leaders and prophets to caregivers and influencers, thus shaping not only their immediate communities, but also setting precedents for future interpretations of female involvement in religious contexts. This aspect of women in the Bible is significant as it underscores the diverse contributions of women to biblical history, often challenging patriarchal norms of the periods in which these texts were written. One prime example of a woman's influential role is found in the story of Deborah, the prophetess and judge featured in the book of Judges. Deborah's leadership in both spiritual and military matters highlights the unique capacity for women to occupy powerful and decisively authoritative positions. Similarly, the story of Esther presents another layer of influence, where Esther uses her position as queen to save her people from persecution, showcasing courage, wisdom, and advocacy. These narratives not only elevate the status of women within biblical records, but also inspire real-world applications in religious and cultural discourses. Women in ministry and leadership roles across various denominations often cite these stories as foundational to legitimizing their positions and contributions to their communities. Additionally, scholars and theologians regard these narratives as a call to reevaluate and appreciate the historical and spiritual significance of women in religious texts and traditions. However, the portrayal of women in biblical narratives is not without controversy. Some interpretations argue that these narratives have often been shaped by patriarchal perspectives, potentially minimizing or oversimplifying women's roles. This has led to ongoing debates about the representation and status of women in religious communities today. Critics may suggest that these interpretations are selective, highlighting empowering stories while neglecting instances where women's roles are more marginalized or restrictive. Despite these challenges, understanding the roles of women in biblical narratives influences other aspects of the main topic by providing a comprehensive picture of their contributions as integral to the broader spiritual and social fabric of biblical history. Their stories not only reflect a diverse range of experiences, but also encourage ongoing dialogue about gender, leadership, and equality within religious and historical contexts. This exploration ultimately enriches the appreciation of women's enduring influence and inspiration in both ancient and modern religious landscapes. The concept of women's roles in the Bible, the influential and inspiring, explores the diverse and pivotal roles women have played in biblical narratives, demonstrating their profound impact and timeless influence. In the Bible, women often step into roles of leadership, wisdom, courage, and spiritual guidance, offering inspiration within religious contexts and everyday life. Their roles in biblical stories underline the broader and often understated contributions of women throughout history, serving as archetypes of strength and resilience. The significance of examining women's roles in the Bible lies in their ability to challenge traditional perceptions of women's capabilities and societal positions. By highlighting these influential figures, one can appreciate the integral roles women have played and continue to play within religious traditions and society at large. This recognition fosters greater gender equality and respect for women's contributions in various spheres of life. Two prominent examples include Deborah and Esther. Deborah, celebrated as a wise judge and prophetess, demonstrates leadership and courage, defying cultural norms by assuming roles traditionally held by men. Her story in the book of Judges, where she leads Israel to military victory, serves as a powerful example of religious and political influence. Esther, another exemplary figure, plays a pivotal role in saving her people from a genocidal plot, exemplifying bravery, advocacy, and the importance of earning trust and wielding influence wisely. Supporters of this idea argue that these stories underscore the essential roles women have played in faith and humanity. Such narratives encourage a view of women as equally capable of contributing to spiritual and societal progress. These perspectives challenge outdated stereotypes and empower women to emulate these historical figures. However, some controversies and alternative viewpoints arise regarding the interpretation of these roles. Critics note that the Bible often frames women's roles within the confines of a patriarchal society, and some interpretations downplay their contributions. Additionally, differing religious perspectives might interpret these stories through varying cultural lenses, leading to debates on their relevance to contemporary gender issues. The exploration of women's roles in the Bible directly influences broader discussions on gender equality and the empowerment of women. By understanding these stories, individuals are prompted to reflect on the roles women play today, considering how historical and religious precedents can inspire current and future generations. This reflection not only enhances the main topic, but also encourages societies to strive toward inclusivity, recognition, and respect for all individuals.